Welcome to Houston Oasis. This is a community grounded in reason, celebrating the human experience. Good to have you all here. Part of the human experience is music. We always kick off our program each week with some live music. This week, I think this is your first time here, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so very, very excited to welcome a award-winning Texas singer, songwriter, recording artist, Matt Harlan. I'm particularly excited because I've heard your music and heard your mention on KPFT for years. My first chance to meet you in person and hear you play live. This is a great honor to have the awesome Matt Harlan with us. So let's give him a warm welcome to Houston Oasis as he kicks off our program.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys very much. I appreciate that. This is seems like a pretty cool group. When I heard about it, I kind of jumped at the opportunity to come out here. And I drove in this morning from Lufkin, which is not where I live. I live in the Heights here in Houston. But you know, it's funny. I got up at 6 a.m. to come over here, and I figured I would play a song. It's like a morning kind of song, you know, and it's also maybe talks a little bit about the sort of traveling musician's life. And but I think what it really comes down to is inspired by, and it's kind of nice. I brought a book with me, and a lot of people here have asked me, you know, what book I'm reading, and that doesn't always happen. You know, people are just kind of, they'll look at your book and be like, why are you reading? Not necessarily what are you reading. So this song was inspired by a poem that I read a while back by T.S. Eliot, and I guess the character in the poem sort of uses this excuse that there will always be time for him to do the things that he needs to be done, and so he used that excuse to do nothing and to be afraid and stuff like that. And I wanted to kind of take some of those words and turn it around a little bit, and because I've never really been one to believe that there's some endless, bountiful amount of time to do the things that we're out to go and get done. It's a song's about that. Hey, well, I woke up this morning, just a whisper on my lips, but you know my head was screaming loud enough for two. And after trying oh so hard to drive the day out of the night, you know the sun came round to find me, collect the debt that's due. And he told me I was keeping too much time asleep inside, so I went walking out on Main Street, eyes all open wide, and I was hungry for a taste of something I was hiding for a time. Tried to start a revolution, all I got was this old rhyme. You know, some days you wake up wrong, you're like a half-developed song. All your pieces, they don't seem to get along. Still you rise to face the day with all the rules and all the ways you try to keep yourself bending close to breaking. You take stock of all these chances you are taking. Hey, when all you got is questions, a pocket full of time, you know it's hard to keep from ending up down on the welfare line. So many roads to choose from, why you just can't tell, but all the boys down at the crossroads say that this one leads to hell. But you know, last night at the bar, I guess I made more than I spent, but all that money ain't enough to pay the rent. Sure, it adds up in the tip jar, and it's enough to buy some smokes and rent a cheap motel. And if that sun comes up tomorrow, I guess it's just as well, 'cause we're just trying to get a glimpse. Take a look under the sheets, and there'll be time to make a face for all the faces that you meet. Oh, and time for sharing secrets, wishes we have made. There'll be time to lay your head down in the shade. You know, some days you wake up wrong, you're like a half-developed song. All your pieces, they don't seem to get along. Still you rise to face the day with all the rules and all the ways you try to keep yourself from bending close to breaking. Take stock of all these chances you are taking. So I think the second song, I'll play a song by request, I guess, which is cool. You get a request on Sunday morning, you know, it's all right. I'm barely awake. I don't even know if I'm here. But I figure I'll go along the same vein and play another song that's kind of inspired by some sort of literary impetus, I guess. And this one was about a play that I hadn't seen at the time. That kind of inspired me. But I was hearing it a lot on the radio, and so it caused me to go and look up a little bit of the meaning behind it. And my buddy had just had, his grandmother had just passed away. And the same week that I guess Michael Jackson also died or something like that. Maybe some other famous celebrity, I don't know. But I got to thinking, you know, all these people were talking about Michael Jackson, or whoever this person was, but nobody was talking about my friend's grandma, you know, because they didn't know her. But it started me to think about, well, what is that? You know, we have all this weight that we put on celebrity. And I thought that maybe is not the best thing for us as a society. And I wrote this song about that. Early morning tremble shakes the ash right off your smoke. Contemplating nursery rhymes and broken radio. Falling off the wall, something everybody knows, but it gets old. Yeah, the world's crumbling inside all those cookie cutter homes. And outside we're all fighting for the right to turn to stone. Rolling through the motions isn't half as fun as tumbling on the road. And it gets old. And every night a child is born alone, I sit and listen for the world to take a breath. Nothing stops the turning of the globe quite like a rich man's death. And all the poor boys with their thumbs out in the cold, they're the ones left waiting for Godot. Trailer parks are always first in line to feel the flames. Today I watched that old wallpaper curl and float away. The rain came to wash it all to mud. The water filled too late. Yes, Carrie Ann and I packed up that old cabriolet. We drove until the wheels fell off near Mexico Way. And I stood in line to work out on an oil rig, cried as Carrie away. Each night I lay frozen to the bone, I sit and listen for the world to take a breath. Nothing stops the turning of the globe quite like a rich man's death. And all the poor boys with their thumbs out in the cold, they're the ones left waiting for Godot. night, remembering how my old man used to say, some grow into millionaires, some just fade away. Sun sets on everyone in time, no matter what you've made. Yeah, but no one wants the memories of soup lines and mistakes. And I can't help but wonder how the summers feel in Spain. Sometimes there's a flicker in a hubcap, takes those thoughts away. Each night as I fall down so alone, I sit and listen for the world to take a breath. Nothing stops the turning of the globe quite like a rich man's death. And all the poor boys with their thumbs out in the cold, they're the ones left waiting for Godot. Bunch. Anyway, this has been really cool. I've enjoyed everything so far, and met some cool people so far. It's really kind of striking and good to see so many young folks and kids as well, you know. So I wanted to kind of send out a song to some of the parents and stuff. This is a tune that it's another inspired by a poem kind of thing. A friend of mine in Austin sends around this email, and a bunch of songwriters are on this list, and we're supposed to take his cue, this some sort of, whether it's like a painting or a newspaper clipping, or in this case a poem that he sends around, and then write a song about it. And found myself in Minnesota on the very first song assignment, as it were, and it was the very last day that we could write a song. I didn't want to get kicked out of the group, so I wanted to go ahead and write one as well. And I was at my buddy's house, who's also a songwriter, and he had just played me a song about a father and a son, and I thought, well, I'm just going to steal this idea and apply it to this thing, because I was pressed for time. You know? But the poem was basically the idea being that people come before us, you know, and the sort of the tagline, the hook in the poem was that, you know, life shouldn't be so hard, but it was not in a whining kind of way. It was in that people who come before us should sort of soften things by their own experience and their own leaving something behind for us to follow. And I kind of dug that and wrote a song about a truck driver teaching his kid how to drive. Drop it down another gear. Roads are slick this time of year. The curve will come up quick, send us flying. You know I've been around, traveled up this way and down. No rush out here is worth the chance of dying. The tracks are flat and worn, so let them guide you. The scars will leave a compass on your skin. You'll find a higher place that you can climb to. Just leave a trail to show them where you've been. See those smooth spots on the wheel, let's experience you feel. White knuckles gripping down and holding tight. Stayed on the road for days, truck stops and KOAs. This dashboard picture got me through each night. The edges rounded down, the image faded. Two children and a wife all hand in hand. My place behind the lens insinuated by a shadow and a footstep in the sand. But don't it all seem to pass like a spring storm on the glass? If you weren't there, you'd swear it never rained a drop. But outside looking in, is where we're left to start again. I grew up before I knew it, and now I wish that you just stop and drop it down another gear till the dark clouds disappear. Just think of how your mother'd end up crying. You know I've been around, traveled up this way and down. No rush out here is worth the chance of dying. You guys, I really appreciate y'all doing something like this and having somebody like me out here and other folks that I guess come out every time. I do have a song, ironically maybe, that sort of pertains to some of the things we were talking about. I'm not going to play that one, it's on my newest CD. I'm going to play one that talks a little bit more generally to some of the things you're talking about. I guess it sort of revolves around the idea of change and each individual's ability to do that. You know, every day you kind of wake up, you have the opportunity to remake yourself and remake the world in a way that you think you know, more fits your ideals. And so this is, whereas the first song I played was more of like a good morning song, this is kind of like a leaving and a goodbye for now kind of tune. And so I hope to see you sometime down the line, and leave you with this little message, I guess. Mozart will always be Mozart, just like disco will always be dead. But me, as long as I'm living, I'm changing with each drop of sweat that rolls off of my head. And the falling will always be certain, the landing don't have to be hard. Yes, and sometimes you'll find you're knocked down a level, free to decide who you are, 'cause a new day is dawning with every day's end. We might be returning to clay, so make use of your lungs while you can. If one thing I've read is true, the shade's bound to close on you, so turn another leaf over, all you broke down high rollers, and see you the next time around. 'Cause you can never go back where you came from. All the dirt roads are highways now, friend. But it gets me to thinking this has already happened, and I'm just passing through once again. 'Cause that sign by the side of the railroad ain't changed since I lived here, it seems. But there's rust that keeps growing at the speed of a century. Grandkids might know what I mean, 'cause a new day is dawning with every day's end. We might be returning to clay, so make use of your lungs while you can. If one thing I've read is true, the shade's bound to close on you. Last words to my brothers, all you lost and you lovers, I'll see you the next time around. 'Cause you know Mozart, he will always be Mozart, a young man who went and laid himself down. Me, as long as I'm living, I'm changing with each drop of sweat that rolls off of my brow. Oh, as long as I'm living, I'm changing with each drop of sweat that rolls off of my brow. Thanks.
Thank you.